you just through one string. It's like a Proust, like that you or is it? It's not Proust. Nietzsche, that he has a bite of a cookie and then he remembers his entire childhood and thinks,
no, Proust.
Is it Proust?
Proust. It's Madeleine de...
Yeah, Madeleine, yeah.
Madeleine de...
Yeah.
Proust? Yeah, I actually just learned that fairly recently.
Yeah, so that'll be yours. Like you play one note on a string and you're like, oh, and I'm transported back to Maryland and living that life. It's like, oh, I'm pounding crabs with my dad. And I'm like, yo, how come you never loved me? And like,
why'd you want me, man?
How come you love Shaft more than you love me?
Straight up. Speaking
I don't know.
of the things I'm typing in this computer right now, The Great Escape and Chicken Run, I feel pretty damn good about it.
If this is an intro, I don't know.
It's Madeleine de Proust.
De Proust.
Yeah, I was reading some article and they referenced that. And the article had no business referencing because it was about pickleball. And I was like, well, that's just...
Yo.
You're using...
I'm sorry.
A little too hoit and a little too toit for...
No. You're not allowed to... Pickleball and fucking Proust don't go in the same sentence.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. I mean, do I think that elderly Hemingway would play pickleball?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, he would.
You know? Yeah, the person was writing
All drunk as fuck.
They had a community garden or something, and that was their Madeleine de Proust.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But it was being removed for a pickleball court. So, it worked, but it was also a little too...
That's also horrifying.
Yeah.
You can play pickleball anywhere.
I agree.
You can play in my backyard.
I agree. It's could you imagine someone pulls up your backyard and hey, now we're making a fucking squash court. It's what?
No, squash?
Get out of here.
Especially for a passing fad. They're yeah, we're going to take your favorite pair of pants and make them into slap bracelets. No.
Could you fucking not?
Anyway.
Alright, it's going to be fun. Because they're prisoners. They're not prisoners of war. They're just...
Aren't they?
Prisoners. Ooh, prisoners of circumstance.
Circumstance.
Got it. Boom. Done. Prisoners of circumstance trapped in, a prison are seeking an opportunity to make a grand exodus from their evil captors. Along the way, they encounter many trials and tribulations and ultimately get a taste of freedom. All this can only mean one thing. We watched The Great Escape and Chicken Run on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Retro vs. Remake!
Bob bitches!
What's up? Welcome to the Retro vs. Remake. I'm Dan Farley.
I'm Reggie Parker.
Oh, and we are here to talk about two of the best movies we've ever done on this podcast.
That's not even
hyperbole. Not even hyperbole or being facetious. These are two, these movies are both of them, phenomenal in their own respects.
Yeah, it's you may be thinking to yourself, I don't know, Nazi prisoners of war
or chickens facing the hatchet.
Right.
Or in this case, chicken pot pie machine.
There's so many great elements in both of these films, and I'm just looking forward to dive right in.
Thank you for joining us for Retro vs. Remake. Before we get started, you could subscribe, follow us at Retro vs. Remake on Instagram, at Dan Farley 18 on Instagram, at RP Comedy on Instagram, at RP Comedy on Twitter.
Twitter X.
X. Oh, sorry, X. X. Go look at this, by the way. My shoe.
Oh man.
DMX.
Those are fresh.
Yeah. DMX moving air.
Wow.
And I saw that and I was like, well, we're buying these.
We're buying these.
Anyway.
You saw that. I saw Skechers. I'm I'm buying these.
Yeah, Skechers. It's the S, because Joe Montana told me so.
It's the same thing. Again, prisoners of war in Nazi Germany. And chickens, it's similar to DMX shoes and Skechers.
Correct. Exactly. It's exactly the same. I just want to get the elephant out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Call me crazy.
Okay.
in both of these movies, did the prisons seem, I don't know, kind of fun? like if I'm gonna be trapped somewhere. I mean, the chicken, not so much, because
the chicken,
death is at the end of it.
You know what's funny? Like, actually, yeah, like totally someone flipped, like, the Great Escape prison does feel like
it's like
fun time and hijinks.
It's like, that's kind of fun.
Which is why, like, how it ends, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
You know, which, you know, again, of course, is based in, like, fact.
Yeah,
like,
it's based, and apparently not far from, like, the real prisoner of war camp either.
Yeah.
But they, the Chicken Run, oh man. The way they, even just the first montage of Chicken Run and Chicken Run, how they, like, basically take some of the tropes that they keep doing in The Great Escape.
Right.
And, of, like, the tunneling out, and then the, perfect.
It's a great...
And they do it, and then her throwing the piece of coal, like, as the baseball.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, she's in the cooler.
The Cooler King.
Oh, man.
But it seems pretty fun. Like, even on the 4th of July, they steal all the potatoes, they make moonshine, they're like, let's get fucked up.
Well, I think what really makes The Great Escape work, like, early on is this, like, eclectic group that we're following, and, like, they're really likable guys.
Yeah, all of them.
Like, they're all kind of cool in their own way, and, you know, especially with their charismatic leader. And you get a little bit of that with Chicken Run. I like the nerdy chicken. I like
I like them all too.
Kind of stupid one.
Yeah, the one that's stupid, but also at the same time, like, even the stupid one, you're like, yo, bitch, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta, what are you doing?
You gotta
why didn't you tell people that you're not laying eggs? What are you doing?
I know.
And even, and it gets to, like, a certain degree, like, as even the captors, like the main captor, no.
Right.
You don't, like,
No.
like, you're not supposed to.
No.
But in this case, I don't know, the guy, I can't remember his name, Colonel, whatever his name is.
Von, whatever. Hold up. I got it.
Yeah, Colonel.
It's like Von something. Von Luger or something?
Yeah, Von Luger, yeah, that's it. Yeah, Von Luger. Colonel Von Luger. You don't sympathize with it. But the other guy, the guy who's like the Weasel or whatever he is, it's like, yeah, that guy is, nah. He's like, you feel bad for him almost a little bit. The same way as you kind of feel bad for the Mr. Tweedy.
Right. Well, yeah, Mr. Tweedy is, it is a similar concept. It's like you got this kind of like...
Not, you don't feel bad for him, but you kind of empathize. Like, I see where that guy's coming from. Like, it's...
Well, it's like, you know, the Great Escape. The whole point is like they've been so good at like escaping.
Yeah.
Kind of, that like no, we gotta bring you to like a real camp with like.
Well, are they good at it?
Well, no, clearly not.
They're not good at it
Clearly
because they're still caught
all the time. Just like these chickens.
But I kind of I like how they set up in the premise of it, like in both movies, really. They set up like, no, I'm trying to get out, man. Like that's and like in The Great Escape, that they're like, we're gonna put all our eggs in one basket. Which great that they take eggs in one basket, all our rotten eggs in one basket, and intend to watch that basket, which is a great Mark Twain quote. Like, don't put all your don't put all your eggs in one basket. I say put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket. But they do that in The Great Escape, and then that's, I mean, eggs. Hello.
Yep.
Eggs turn into chickens. Anyway. But there's like
around.
Yes. When I was growing up, that you know this, but I'll share it with the folks at home, is that I'm related to a very famous bank robber. His name is Willie Sutton. He's like my grandfather's cousin, my grandfather's brother, and he was arrested constantly.
Right.
Like because he robbed banks, and he made no bones about it. One of his famous quotes are, "Why do you rob banks?" He's like, "Because that's where the money is."
Right.
And he didn't care. Like he was, whatever. He's a very interesting guy if you read about him. But he would break out of all these prisons, but also make no bones about it in prison. It was like, yeah, man, I'm a criminal. Right. I'm trying to break out. Like, you better watch me, because I'm not going to stay here if I get a chance.
And like, I like that framing and that understanding in The Great Escape. That like, that's what it is.
Like, you know what it is. We took an oath. We're trying. Our whole point is to mess up your whole thing.
Yep.
Even if that's just running around and making you catch us.
Absolutely. So for our little audience here, I'll give you a quick breakdown.
Yes.
The Great Escape is a 1963 American epic war suspense adventure film. Let's see. Directed by John Sturges.
The great John Sturges.
Absolutely. Screenplay by James Clavell, W.R. Burnett. It's based on The Great Escape, which is a novel by Paul Brickhill about like the very real escape attempts that happened during like
This exact story.
it pretty much this exact story is kind of like condensed and like taking different stories, you know, maybe combining certain characters in a certain way, but like for the most part, this in a macro level, it happened.
Yeah.
You know,
On some level, it happens. Yeah.
absolutely.
I should read that book.
It sounds like a good
Yeah.
one. Starring Steve McQueen, The Summer of Steve.
The summer, the
Well, September of Steve.
September of Steve.
September of
Steve
Steve.
September.
Steve September. So Steve McQueen, James Garner, Richard Attenborough, with features from James Doohan, Charles Bronson, Donald Pleasence, James Coburn. Great.
James Cole.
Let's see.
With his arthritic hands.
John Layden, Angus Linney. That's all you're going to get. And I think we do have to shout out, in this particular case, the musical score was composed by Elmer Bernstein.
And it's so good.
The music is a character.
Yeah, the music is a character. And then it's emulated so perfectly in the 1999 classic Chicken Run with its own theme, but it's so...
True.
It's such an homage to Bernstein.
Filmed in 99, released in 2000.
Yes.
Chicken Run is a 2000 stop-motion animated adventure comedy film directed by Peter Lord, Nick Park, with a screenplay by Carrie Kirkpatrick. And the story, well, you already said that basically. But starring Phil Daniels, Lynn Ferguson, Mel Gibson, Tony Haygarth, Joe Horrocks, and Miranda Richardson. I'm going to stop there.
Yes.
You know, there's really only a few people we're going to end up talking about.
Yeah, that's right. And speaking of the one person we will talk about, that we should just do it now, is this movie is yet another example of why Mel.
Mel.
Why Mel?
Mel is...
Mel, it's like, you idiot. Like, if you just... don't get me wrong, I don't condone his views on anything, really.
Yeah.
But just shut up. Don't
Sure.
say a word. Just don't say a word to anyone, and we would have been like, yo, this guy Mel. I was looking this up. This is what I wanted to get to of the people talk about like streaks in movies. There are certain people that have had like incredibly impressive streaks.
Right.
In movies, Tom Hanks, like from A League of Their Own to like The Terminal.
Okay.
It's like not a miss in there. It's like boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. Even like the ones that miss don't miss by that much. Like Road to Perdition.
Sure.
Like okay, yeah. And then like Denzel Washington, it's like from like Glory to like Deja Vu. You're like Jesus Christ. And then immediately it's like there's a couple misses, then Flight.
Right.
You know, it's but it's, and then I just want to go over this this absolute heater of Mel Gibson with you. I was looking this up. I was like, my God, we'll just say 1981, which will be the start of it. 1981 is the Road Warrior, which is Mad Max 2.
Totally.
Then it goes the year of living dangerously, The Bounty, The River, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Lethal Weapon, Tequila Sunrise, Lethal Weapon 2, Bird on a Wire, Air America, Hamlet, Lethal Weapon 3, Forever Young, The Man Without a Face, Maverick, which is I love more than I should. That I don't know why I love that movie that much. Braveheart, Pocahontas, Ransom, Conspiracy Theory, Lethal Weapon 4, the epic classic Payback, with him playing the title character named Payback. Then he's in one of the most classic Simpsons episodes. Then he's in Chicken Run, followed by the ever rewatchable, terrible movie, The Patriot. Dude, that is a heater of heaters.
That's a heater.
That's 1981 to 2000.
Damn.
And then it goes What Women Want, We Were Soldiers, and Signs. And then after that, it starts dipping off.
Still a decent run. I mean,
yeah, it starts dipping off until you get back to Passion of the Christ.
Which I think is why, you know, how Hollywood is. I think is why he got so many chances, as it were.
Yeah.
Even like now, he's basically back.
Yeah,
like, you know,
like
it's not he'll never be the same star level because of his views. And, the things that he does.
As far as like, he was like the good-looking guy, and even like in this movie, it totally doesn't. I mean, it would never age well,
right?
But especially in the Me Too times, but it really doesn't with Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
you're like, Jesus, he keeps calling him Ginger Dollface. You're like, ugh, come on, Mel. And he's clearly like super sexist about it, and he's trying to fuck all those chickens.
Yeah, which is funny because you think he would have learned his lesson in What Women Want, but
yes,
here we are.
Well, that was after.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was
that's
after.
Fair.
It was. I love What Women Want, by the way.
I think it's phenomenal.
It's a phenomenal film. Again, doesn't age well. But
That's Mel for you though.
yeah. And why don't we make movies like Maverick anymore? Then it's like, hey, this movie's not going to win an Oscar, but isn't it fun?
Right.
It's like Maverick or City Slickers. And I don't mean just the West genre of like, hey, fun times. Anyway, that's a digression that we don't need to get into right now.
Well, they're not going to make those because they keep making reboots.
Yes, they're going to make a reboot. Remake fucking Maverick. Maverick was a reboot, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
An absolute heater. Again, Mel. Why? Anyway.
Yeah.
But that movie, so Chicken Run, basically is the plot is they're stuck, chickens are stuck on an egg farm, and then the owners of the egg farm, the one chicken is constantly trying to escape because as soon as they are useless to bearing eggs, they get the axe chop and they are cooked for dinner.
Which is just such an interesting way of still telling like the Great Escape story, but like throwing like that humor on it, because obviously when you're dealing with Nazis, like which actually they did find a way to kind of make it funny.
Yeah,
for a while.
because they're idiots. Some of them are idiots.
Right.
Like the one guy, the weasel or whatever, he's an idiot.
100%.
It's like, yo, this guy is clearly just don't talk to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't talk to anyone. You won't have to take that bribe.
Yes.
So like
the forced bribe.
For you, like, when was the first time you saw The Great Escape?
The first time I saw The Great Escape, it was probably, I had to be like maybe 23 or so. Like I was always told about I was watching. Someone got into the topic. You know, I'm as a big cinephile as I was. People would always talk about the greatest like car chases.
Sure.
And the three that would always come up. One was that most people wouldn't put up there was Ronin with Robert De Niro and John Reno, which is so good. Those car chases in that movie are like fuck your Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Watch Ronin where they're actually driving. Like that's insane. And then the other one is French Connection.
French Connection.
And then Bullet with Steve McQueen.
Right.
And those were like the three main, like watch those and you'll learn everything you need to know about a car chase. So once I got Bullet and I went down the rabbit hole of Steve McQueen and you know I was told my whole life he was dead way before I was born.
Right.
But I don't know if way before I was born, but he was dead. He certainly wasn't Steve McQueen when I was born.
Fair enough.
So I started going down a rabbit hole and then you know I saw The Great Escape. I've heard of it and also I knew about it from the line. The only thing I really knew about it was the the Quentin Tarantino talking about like a virgin in Reservoir Dogs. Like I'm like he's like Charles Bronson. Like a Virgin's about a guy with a big dick.
Right.
That he's like Charles Bronson in The Great Escape. He's digging tunnels. Like that's what I knew about The Great Escape. So then I watched it and I was blown the fuck away.
Yeah.
And then this is so good. And then I furthered my Steve McQueen hole, and then I just kept watching more of Steve McQueen. I'm like, this guy's the coolest fucking dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then also because like him and the Paul Newman going back and forth.
Right.
Like because there's something to be said. I'll talk on it later, but I got some more to say about something like that. And then as far as Chicken Run goes, I never saw Chicken Run until I watched it for this.
Funny enough, it's flipped for me. So like I guess the closest thing I've got to watching The Great Escape is I realized that the television series Recess is just the children's version
Really?
of The Great Escape. So like if you ever watch the opening sequence of Recess, it's the song from The Great Escape.
Really?
And T.J. Detweiler is basically the Steve McQueen of the group. And he's the charismatic like leader who's constantly trying to like bust him out of school. Mm-hmm. And he does it through like all these pranks. There's a weasel, there's a rat amongst their ranks, and like everyone has their different talents and stuff like that. And like honestly, I may even just pull it up. Like if you see the opening sequence for Recess, you're gonna be like, that's 100% right. So I'll edit around this. So when we come back, audience, you're gonna be like, hey, we just watched the Recess intro. It's right?
Yeah. But it's literally like it's the uncopyrighted version of the Bernstein.
Yeah.
It's like it's clearly an homage to it.
Of course.
Wow, talk about a joke that goes over 1,000 kids' heads.
Oh,
that
100%.
we'll never get. Because what kid from the 90s is watching The Great Escape?
Exactly.
No one.
Well, not me, right? So like as soon as I was watching Great Escape, I was like, damn, they like there's a funny meme of Soldier Boy talking about Drake. He stole my shit, line for line, bar for bar.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
There's nothing new in this world, bro.
Really,
nothing new in this world.
Like, just the impact of The Great Escape and like that style, and like all the cinematic choices they made to be like a trope for like taking a children's series. In our case, Chicken Run, for instance, but like something like Recess, where in that intro you know everything you need to know about all the characters.
Yep.
Right there in the intro, and it's clearly mimicking The Great Escape because all these little plots to get out of school. So, you know, like, for whatever reason, The Great Escape does work in this medium, but, like, I saw Chicken Run pretty early on because I had younger siblings, and, like, we would get, like, DVDs or VHSs and stuff, and Chicken Run was definitely one of those that was in rotation.
So you don't even know, really?
Yeah. No, like, probably around 2000, honestly.
Yeah, when it came out.
Yeah, like, basically when it came out on DVD. I know we didn't see it in theaters, but, you know, a lot of chicken-themed stuff back then. Chicken...
Well, it was a different world.
Chicken
I think that was, because I even felt something when I was watching it, like oh man, I don't know if I want to eat chicken right now.
Yeah,
and then I did, but.
Well, that is a cool thing, man. It's like, it humanizes the chicken.
Really does.
You know? Like,
extremely, I mean, literally humanizes them, like it personifies people, like, that they're chickens, but at the same time, it's like, you're smart enough to do all this, you guys can't just climb a fence? I don't understand, like. Or the, I guess because the dog's the way around that. Like,
right.
Well, the dogs will eat you.
Right.
Like, you know, but it's like, it's kind of one of those, like, you got all these tools, you can't just drill a hole in that fence and just get out of here?
Exactly.
I don't know. Anyway, but.
Yeah, and then The Great Escape, first time for this podcast, great choice there.
Oh, I love it, man.
You know,
I'm a big fan of this.
You know what's kind of interesting about the films? I mean, I think you broke it down, right? Like, synopsis-wise, right? Or...
What do you mean?
Like the films?
Oh, of how similar they are?
Yeah, or just like what happens in the movie.
Yeah, well, basically they need to get out. That's it. They gotta get out. Like the chickens are more dire.
Yes.
Because they don't want to die.
Right.
They don't want to live their life laying eggs until they can't lay eggs anymore, then they're killed. They don't want that. That's not a life. Unless, according to the other chicken, it's a life.
It's a life.
But then in The Great Escape is they gotta get out because not only is it their job, it's their passion to destroy, like, to run amok and make them chase them. And also, these guys have families. They want to get back to their families. They don't want to live in this fucking tent with all these dudes.
Yeah, ironically, The Great Escape, you know, folks are protected somewhat by the Geneva Convention until they're not.
Yeah.
And the chickens, no, there's no Geneva Convention.
There's no Geneva Convention at all. They
chickens.
could throw them right. Although I don't know how
the business model for the Tweeties is.
Well, the business model actually I'm kind of on board with. This movie's oddly women empowering. Not only is it pro-vegan, it's pro-women, which I didn't expect to come from fucking Chicken Run.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I didn't expect it. It kind of like, whoa. Not only, like, every woman in the first Ginger is a super powerful woman, but then also Mrs. Tweedy's a super powerful woman. And of course, they can't get along.
Yeah, and it's like, it wouldn't work in The Great Escape in the sense that, like, Miss Tweedy, obviously she's like the villain of the movie, but ultimately, like, she's running a farm. Yeah,
you're just running a farm. But if only you could recognize the talent of this woman.
Right.
This is what's the problem in the corporate structure of America. If you don't recognize the talent of this woman, you can make so much more money off of Ginger instead of just eggs or making her into a pot pie.
Or you could make her a circus chicken.
Yes.
Very famous.
I had a... Yes, well, he's a famous circus chicken for getting shot out of a rocket, Rocky, which, by the way, took me way longer
to figure that
I don't know, right now, that Rocky.
I actually just got it now.
So...
Boy, I'm not smart.
Yeah, me neither. I literally, as I'm saying it, like, oh. So they have my only qualm with, and this is something from the rip, and we discussed this off camera, but I'll reiterate it for the podcast, is two things in the Great Escape.
Yep.
One is that everyone's white. So this is what I thought about initially. This is how I went. I was like, this is typical like 1963, is that everyone's white. And then I remembered, oh no, they're being captured by Nazis.
Right.
So if the guy was black, they probably would have just shot him. They're not going to feed him. They don't care. Oh, my mistake. So they probably were all white.
Yeah.
So, never mind. They would not treat black people like human beings because they were Nazis. They're horrible.
It's just always funny, like in these mediums, like the kind of like klutzy Nazi trope, like the Hogan's here.
But it's like you gotta make it. It's like you gotta laugh, or else you're gonna cry.
That's true.
Type of thing.
That's true.
That's what I think it's the. And the other problem I have about this movie, and this is a little more broad-minded, is that Steve McQueen in this movie, as great as Steve McQueen is in this movie, he's just so fucking cool.
Yeah,
like he's so cool, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like he's first of all, he's a hotshot pilot,
right?
He's like, and then he's a rebel as a hotshot pilot that's overly confident and cocky, talking back to like basically the Fuhrer,
right?
Talking back like, it's Captain Nils, like, and all this shit. And making fun of everything and like talking back. Then he's just nothing gets to him. Like you put him in the cooler, he doesn't give a fuck. He's got his baseball, ba-boom, ba-boom. Right. He rides motorcycles, he flies airplanes. Oh, what does he study in college? Oh, chemical engineering. Like, so not only that, he's the smartest guy in the room. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that guy does not study chemical engineering.
You know what's kind of interesting about it too? Because he's so cool. We just jump into it. Like. Obviously, but like the one-to-one would be Steve McQueen, who's Hiltz, the cooler king.
Hiltz, the cooler king, who broke every rule as fast as the Germans made them.
You're crazy. You ought to be locked up. You too. 250 guys just walking down the road just like that.
Because they're always putting him in the cooler. And in Chicken Run, the equivalent would actually be, which like you say in the feminist side of this, would be Julia Swalha's Ginger.
We're all going to fly over that fence, and Mr. Rhodes is going to show us how.
Yes.
Ginger is Hiltz, effectively.
Yeah.
Even like you said with the baseball and him throwing the baseball, her throwing the coal when they're both like in solitary confinement.
Which I loved.
I thought it was great.
Because I immediately got it. I was like, bravo.
It was a great homage. But like both of these characters, I mean, obviously more so Steve McQueen, but like, just cool.
Yeah,
like super likable.
Super likable.
And like you got this feeling, but like they would never do this because they're both honor bound. But like if they just did it themselves, they wouldn't be stuck.
Yeah,
they could just leave, but they're trying to help everybody.
Well, that was the whole thing too of that Steve McQueen in the movie. He has the opportunity to leave, and he does leave, but they're like, we need you to get recaptured to come back here and tell us the layout of the land out there because we don't know. And he's like, wait, you want me, if I get by, you want me to get caught again just so I can come back here? They're like, yeah. And he's like, I'm not doing that. What are you, insane? And then he immediately does it.
Right. Because it was Angus or whatever.
Yeah.
Clizabbed.
Yeah.
So it changes the mood. That's interesting. Like that turning point, I think that's where the movie tonally does make the shift from just being kind of like goofy, we're escaping just to kind of escape, to being like, oh no, fuck these Nazis.
Yeah, fuck these Nazis, we gotta go. Like he makes the Scottish guy who's, everyone in this movie's British, except, I don't know, 6 guys? Whatever. And James Coburn's Australian. Okay. Yep. Not even close to doing an accent, by the way. He's like, hey mate, what's going on? Just trying to get back to Australia, mate. Like, James Coburn. You're phenomenal. Phenomenal James Coburn. I love James Coburn. Anyway, but then one of the Scottish smaller guy tries to, the solitary confinement breaks him.
That's Angus Linney? He's Ives the Mole?
Ives the Mole, yeah. And he tries to escape. And runs over, tries to climb the fence and gets shot immediately by the guards.
Yeah.
And that's when the tonal shift, and he's like, now I'll actually do what you need.
Totally.
Because now because fuck these Nazis.
Yeah, because at this point in the film, Hiltz and the crew, but he's leading them, of course, they're digging multiple tunnels simultaneously to try to like keep the Nazis off the...
Tom, Dick, and Harry, the tunnels. And they stop work on some of the tunnels and they focus, I think, on Tom specifically. During a 4th of July celebration where, again, having a lot of fun. They've been making moonshine. Yeah. I love the montage where like everyone comes by and is like,
Oh shit.
Whoa. I also loved Steve McQueen when he's handing it out to everyone. He's like, don't smoke while you drink this. Don't smoke while you drink this. They're going to light on fire.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
But like, you know, for something as serious as prisoners of war being, you know, like forced to do, like, you know, some like forced labor and stuff like that, who are trying to find an escape, like most of the tone is just like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to escape. I don't know what you want from me. I'm a soldier. I'm a fucking...
And it's like, Hill, did you try to escape? Yeah, I tried to escape.
I tried to escape, yeah. It's like the scorpion and the frog. Like, it's in my nature.
Right.
What do you want me to do?
Of course. And like, even so like, when placed in solitary confinement, because that's like the punishment.
The
trying to
cooler.
escape, the cooler. You still get your baseball and your glove.
Yeah, you got a baseball and a glove.
You're
Sit
right.
there in the room,
You can
bounce
talk
against
to
the wall.
Ives. He's right next door, you know? Like,
The whole time I was thinking that, like, if I was Ives, after 2 hours, I'd be like, hey, Steve, shut the fuck up.
Oh,
like, could you
I
stop
would make it 20
banging that
minutes.
ball? Yeah.
I would
Stop banging that goddamn ball.
yeah. But he's so
Especially
good.
that repetitive no. Nah, it's like I'll come through this wall right now, like the Hulk, like the Kool-Aid man.
But, you know, Ives' death is like the turning point, because like they're having this 4th of July celebration. They're playing Yankee Doodle. Kind of is a joke because most of them are British.
Oh yeah, all of them are British, but they're like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Might as well get drunk with the Americans.
That's right.
Of which there are 3.
Yeah.
There's 3 in this camp.
Down with the Brits, up with
Yeah.
up with the Americans. Yeah.
Up with the colonies, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
they say.
So funny. But like, that tonal shift when like Ives, like the anguish of him like trying to climb the barbed wire, because he loses it when the Nazis find the tunnel, and he's like, all that work, all this shit, and he's just like, I gotta get out of here.
I get out of here.
I'm
Like,
losing.
we're never gonna get out of here. We're gonna die. We're all gonna die. And then, but they also add other things in there. Like there's some things like that's why I could see this being such a great book.
Yeah.
That there's elements of each character that they try that they don't have time to expand.
Right.
Like they expand on James Gardner, who's also devastatingly handsome in this movie. By the way, it's like, oh my goodness, James Gardner. Speaking of Maverick,
Yeah, seriously. Henley, the Scrounger. That's
the Scrounger. He's what the hell was my point? Is that I don't know. That you get into like what he does, but you don't really need more than he does. But then you get into Charles Bronson, that he's actually extremely claustrophobic, which they don't build on because it kind of comes out of nowhere.
Right.
You're like, what are you talking about? Like this is your 19th tunnel and you're claustrophobic now. You're telling us like why would you do the other ones?
Right. And like even the rationale for like why it worked. Before I knew I had to get out. It's like, well, you still have to get out.
Yeah,
you
still have to get out.
What changed?
I go in my own way. And also, when you look, this movie also, Charles Bronson is the best. Especially because I realized, like, I was like, oh, where the hell is Charles Bronson from? He's like, America? Like, it's from New York or something.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's like, how the fuck his name's like Bukowski or something like that. It's like, anyway, but it's just ridiculous that his accent is like, huh?
It's insane.
And just in real life, though, that's just him talking.
Right.
And I don't know where you're. Hey, man, where the hell are you from?
Right.
He's phenomenal. Also, the homage they do for the in Chicken Run when they do it's perfect because it looks exactly like the tunnel in The Great Escape.
With the little
cart, the little cart, and the chickens take the shovel and bang it against the thing to like signal to pull me in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Meanwhile, like, if anyone's ever seen the show Peaky Blinders, when they're digging the tunnel and that, it's like, no, that's what that looked like.
Right.
Not this.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, oh, look, we got a lantern here. That looked kind of fun. It's like, let's go through the little tunnel.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, just, I don't know, like, for so much of the film, it's just fun.
It's really fun.
It's
and the whole time you're like, this is what I love. This is what I loved about it. And we'll just get into the entire movie. What I loved about the movie is the whole time you're like, this is fun. Like, this is great. That you don't, when they get killed at the end, you're like, what the fuck?
I know.
Like, that you don't see it coming and that the bad guys completely win.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
huh?
It's such a bummer because like
yeah, it's such a but they.
because even the people that like arguably escape, they're not even like the ones you want.
Yeah,
to
I mean
escape.
Charles Bronson,
Oh yeah,
and then James Coburn, and
Yeah.
Charles Bronson and Danny, whoever that guy's name is, and then James Coburn. Those are the only three of
Right.
the 250 people that they're
Right.
trying to escape.
Right.
Like 3 people escape, and they and James Coburn does it by act, like he does it by luck, sheer
Right.
luck. Like he stays at a cafe that happens to be like shot up by the resistance,
right.
and because he saw that and they knew he wasn't a Nazi, he's like, "You guys resistance? Can you get me to Spain?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can get you to Spain."
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why he gets there. And Charles Bronson and Danny took a rowboat, so they're like, "Who's gonna find them in the ocean?"
Right.
You know, and that's the only reason why. But everyone else, yeah, like Steve McQueen, you want to get away, and he doesn't. But James Garner, and then he's looking out for the old man, who's not even. By the way, he's in that list of people. Were you ever young?
Right,
The
right.
fucking Donald Pleasance from Halloween. You're like, were you ever a young
I don't
man?
think he ever was.
And he's so fucking. And
When you find out he like can't see,
he can't see, dude. Like, this didn't come up. Why do you have this job? Out of all the things, you could just hang out and be like, "Yo, can I leave?"
Yeah.
Half those guys didn't do shit.
Right.
Like,
right.
half those guys were just in the choir singing. You couldn't be in the choir.
Crazy.
And you didn't make every passport. There were guys that were helping you. Like, you had a class.
Right.
Like, you don't need to. Never mind. I guess they wouldn't let him go though. So that's what they said. They couldn't let him go because he's blind. And so he's gonna get caught because he'll fucking magoo it right into a tree.
Straight up.
But he.
When he jumps out of the train, I'm like, wow.
Also, he's a fucking asshole. In that whole movie, he's like, "Oh, it's so uncivilized to drink tea." It's like, you're in a prisoner of war
Tea
camp.
without milk.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do you want to? You should go see what it's like in Poland right now.
Seriously.
You fucking assholes! Like, and when they're drinking the moonshine, it's like, oh, it's pretty good stuff, right? It's like, you know what? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not brandy. We're like, let's go fucking. Yeah, it's not, dickhead.
Of course.
Yeah, of course it's not. We made this last night in a basement with potatoes, bro. Do you want it or not?
And like you're saying with the end, how like, let's say of the 200, about 76 escaped before like their plan got blown up.
Yes.
'Cause, when they dug the tunnels, unfortunately, they're about 20 meters short. Yeah, 20 meters short of the tree line, so like the guards could still see them.
Technically, if they all went out at once, they could see him.
Yeah.
So they had to. Steve McQueen went out. Of course, Steve McQueen went out.
Of course.
And he had a string to pull it to let them know to come.
Right.
So one by one, while it was dark, and so that's how they did
Which
it.
fortunately for them, well, temporarily, fortunately for them, there was like an air raid, so like all the lights went out, so that gave them some opportunity to make an escape. But like some asshole, just
That
trips.
one fucking asshole
trips.
trips. But not only that, but he rushed to get out.
Yeah.
He was like, ah, fuck this. I'm not waiting for him.
Right. And it's like, thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
You know?
thanks, you dickhead. You ruined it for everyone and probably got us all killed.
Pretty much.
And did.
Well, 50 of them, for
50
sure.
of them. He got
The movie-
two-thirds of them killed.
Yeah. The movie's dedicated to like 50 of these captive soldiers or whatever that,
They got kept.
Yeah.
Captive soldiers.
yeah, apparently direct order from the Fuhrer himself, they shot them, which was a violation of the Geneva Convention, which we mentioned. And, you know, going forward, obviously, big motivation for, like, the McQueen character going forward. Like, I guess if there is a silver lining to the ending, he's still just as defiant as he always was, you know?
Hey, but that's also more of the reason when at the end of it, it's like, well, why would they kill him?
I know.
That doesn't make,
I
because
know.
he's cool? That doesn't,
It seems to be.
that's why some of this stuff doesn't make sense of like, why are you so cool? Because they would just kill you.
Yeah.
That they're not going to put up with your stupid shit.
I mean, yeah.
This is not middle school. Like, in Recess, makes sense.
Right.
You can't do anything to
Right,
the
you
kid,
can't,
really.
You can't
but,
take out TJ Detweiler.
yeah, but Steve McQueen, they can certainly have an accident, and you died.
You would think, because like the entire premise of this prison camp is it's tougher than the previous prison camp.
Yeah.
That's why they're transported. Also, I fucking love the first thing they try to do. Like the
Immediately.
day they get there.
The minute. He's like, yo, who are these Russian guys? Yeah, and he's like, oh, I know one phrase in Russian. I love you. Like, get in the, and they're trying to escape with the Russians. And like, get in the haystack.
Yeah.
Get in the bushes. Let's go.
Oh man.
And Steve McQueen's immediately like, how far is it to that? Like, they're all like immediately like, how do we get out?
Yep. I mean, yeah, within the first few minutes, Steve McQueen already knows the blind spot in the guard post.
Yep.
Formulates the plan. But you're right, like, when you have a leader that's that charismatic, and now allegedly these Nazi characters are tougher, you take it out of the head. Like, why are you letting this guy just...
Like, all you have to say is, no, we shot him trying to escape. Which he escaped 17 times.
Right.
He's clearly gonna do it. Like, he's guilty of it 17 times.
That's like the other thing, which is I think why the movie can sit in, like, kind of the fun category for as long as it does, is, yeah, if you try to escape this way, we'll shoot you, but if you do it a different way,
Yeah.
we'll just be like, no, and it's like, where are we at? Are you guys like...
I guess maybe it's that he's not high-ranking enough for them to care.
Fair.
That's what the only thing I could assume, but all the more reason why you're going to get more flack from the Geneva Convention. But also with this, when it comes to like that ending, when like that it kind of comes out of nowhere,
right?
That you don't see it coming at all,
right?
That they're sitting, fucking John Hammond is sitting there talking to the other guy. And he's like, I feel the best I've ever felt, even though we failed. I feel so good that we tried, and then like, some of us got away, and that's enough. And like, I feel so good. This is the best day of my life. And they turn around and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
That's
great.
Wait, did they? It's like one of those you rewind it. Like, I'm sorry, did they just murder them?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Nuts, man.
And then John Hammond went on to open Jurassic Park.
Well,
Now even in like him as a young man, it's like, come on, bro, you're not that young. I mean, it's like, what are you, 28?
Most of this crew,
motherfucker, you're 45.
Most of this crew is like that. Charles Bronson, you can't convince me, was young.
No.
Like, at any point, like he just came out in his
With that
late
hair.
30s.
Yeah, he came out like him. Burgess Meredith came out at 62 years old. Fucking Donald Pleasance, he was 49 years old when he was born. Steve McQueen, even him at like 25 is still like, I don't know, like he's still like so rugged.
Yeah, he looks like the.
He's a weird. Yeah, he does. He's like a weird. Like people talk about him as a sex symbol, and I kind of get it.
Like he's a good-looking guy, but
Yeah,
then he's also
but
like,
is he?
Yeah,
like,
right.
His hair is kind of weird. But I mean, I don't know. But also like his smile is so like creased. I don't know. It's just looking by today's standards of.
I think it's like
this guy.
at times.
That motherfucker never used lotion in his life. Like he's a bar of soap just wiping his face.
Yeah, like these days, like you're gonna be.
That's not. I'm shitting on Steve McQueen a little too much here. I love Steve McQueen.
No,
I think
he's
he's
great.
phenomenal.
But like I know what you mean. Like when you're looking at this cast, by modern Hollywood standards, like I don't think.
No, James Gardner is. He like even by today's standards, you'd be like, that's a fucking handsome ass dude.
That's fair. I mean,
everyone else.
Look at the IMDb. Yeah, he's like the only one that has like.
Yeah, look at that picture.
The man looks great.
Yeah.
No, Richard Attenborough. Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
Like
not David Attenborough.
Not David Attenborough.
Which he should have done. He should have narrated the Chicken Run.
That would
have been so funny.
That would have been sick.
If you did that, and like this is this story of. Also, the claymation in Chicken Run is phenomenal.
The claymation's amazing, and then like, funny enough, tonally, even though it's a comedy like the whole time, but like, Chicken Run, I would say the stakes feel higher.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah.
In Chicken Run.
Yeah. Because they can't help science.
Right.
Like they can't help the biology that there's eventually they're going to be barren that
right.
Old chickens aren't supposed to A, exist, B, produce eggs. Yeah. That's not.
There wasn't a moment because Ginger from the rip knows that she's in danger.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess McQueen and all his guys know that like they're in danger, but like to an extent, like they know that they can push the limits and basically keep trying to escape and like not much will happen.
Yeah.
Versus Chicken Run, like she's trying to make it out because she knows what happens, and we get a very early example of a chicken who's like
killed.
She ain't making eggs no more.
Yeah. Immediately killed.
Like early in the film, it's like wow.
And we also talk about the one male chicken other than Rocky, the Admiral or whatever is.
Oh yeah, he's
fucking Uncle Tom coming in here like this.
Yeah, he was annoying as shit.
It's just like, why are you helping them? I don't understand even what you're trying to do. Like
you. It was Benjamin Withrow's Fowler.
Operation Cover Up. No.
Yeah, Fowler.
Yeah.
This fucking guy.
He was annoying shit.
Yeah, what are you doing? You can't help them. these guys are a bunch of fucking what's a rat piece of shit? Like,
Yeah.
Fall out, ladies, fall out. Like, what?
Yeah, he's
Yo, man, shut up. Don't help them.
And
You're helping them count and shit.
yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, I guess his closest equivalent would be like the dude who's like, this tea doesn't have milk in it. This is no
Yeah.
brand, like sort of. But
Well,
also, his, like,
that's just annoying. It's like, I'm not helping you.
but also his like senile ass like forgetting he was in the Air Force. It's
Yeah.
like, bro,
Did you not mention?
we've been trying to fly for like
Yeah.
the last hour.
What are you doing?
You flown before?
You've flown? You're the only one who might have known?
Ridiculous.
Come on, bro.
I think that like you know, obviously like we're not doing a 1-to-1 film because one is about prisoners of war and one's about chickens.
Yeah, but it's also so it's basically the same plot, but the characters are definitely different. Like, I guess the closest would be of the Scrounger and Rocky would be close.
Yeah. Like yeah, Rocky would be close, but like what's interesting about Rocky, one being the only male, so like that Mel Gibson stuff we're talking about.
The name's Rocky.
And what brings you to England?
Why, all the beautiful English chicks, of course.
Yes. And American.
Yes, being the American,
Which-
but then also not
Not
actually
American, which is the best. That's such a great joke in the
So
movie.
good.
It's like, I don't even think he's American.
That
And
is
he's not.
that is what makes Chicken Run work so much. They're like on a base level for like kids, like yeah, just what's happening is kind of funny. Like for an older audience, like all of the jokes,
Yeah.
even jokes that I would be like, am I really laughing about a hard-boiled egg joke? Like, yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
That was a good joke.
That's a fine joke.
it was solid.
Totally fine.
But like the idea of one like introducing the American, then him being like really the only viable male that they've ever seen, and like what that means for him, and like because he clipped his wing, like when Rocky, he basically flies into their camp. They think he's flying because he's trying to escape from the circus, and now he's introduced hope into, again, talking about tonally. He's introduced hope into this hopeless situation.
One flew
The
over
chickens
the
are-
cuckoo's nest,
One-
if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's more or less convinced them dubiously that he can fly and that he can teach them to fly.
Yeah.
But like, not even kind of. Just a piece of shit.
He is kind
Rocky
of a piece of
kinda
shit.
sucks.
Yeah, he kind of does suck.
Mostly because he never really comes clean, and then the moment he's confronted with like adversity again, he just dips.
Yeah.
Nah, he comes back, so sure, there's some redemption there.
But even they address that. It's like she's like, that's for leaving and that's for coming back.
yeah,
She slams him in the face and then kisses him.
yeah,
Which you just don't need them to fall in love. I would have been much better for the female archetype if she didn't like that guy.
yeah. That's
Although in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So in the land of the hens, the one rooster is king.
I love like the bits where like, because his wing is clipped and he really doesn't have to prove that he can fly, and like how the hen's like he's sitting in like a hot tub, he's getting like massages and stuff like that.
And he has the cocktail, which I thought was like, that's such a good joke. I would so do that joke too,
so
like,
funny.
especially to a girl. I'm like, cocktail. Got it.
It's so good. I gotta give a shout out to really I think what helps ground the movie, because there's other chickens like Lynn Ferguson plays Mac, Jan Horrocks plays Babs, and I think Mac is like the kind of like the nerdy one.
Yeah, the one who was knitting.
I think so, right?
I don't know. I don't remember their names, to be honest with you.
I don't remember their names, but like I know there's the one that knits. There's the one that like basically helps make the flying device.
Yeah.
Who does like a lot of the engineering stuff, and there's like I don't know. That shit doesn't really matter, but like yeah, they all have character traits too. But ultimately, like everyone but Gender is so distracted. Like, like they are not concerned at all.
No.
But they really, really should be.
Yes. Indeed.
And another thing that kind of works into the humor, which is somewhat hilarious, that these characters, well, especially Mrs. Tweedy, are played more villainous than Nazis.
Oh,
totally.
Absolutely.
In the film.
More villainous than those Nazis.
Yes, than those Nazis,
Than
correct.
those Nazis. I wouldn't say like Ray Fiennes in Schindler's List.
Right.
He was worse.
Yeah, no, he was worse. But like, yeah, the Great Escape Nazis are just kind of like, because everyone's
These
like
idiots.
checked out.
Yeah.
Like even what Von Luger we were talking about, when Hans Mesmer's von Luger.
This is a new camp. It has been built to hold you and your men. It is organized to incorporate all we have learned of security measures.
There's like different little scenes in the movie where you can tell he's like, I'm just trying to get through this.
Yeah, it's like I got shot and I can't do anything else.
Yeah.
So why do you guys got to do this?
Like when some people come in, like other Nazis show up at one point, and they're like, oh, we got to do this. And like, Hail Hitler. And they do the thing, and like he's just sitting there like, Hail Hitler. You're like,
all right.
I'll do the thing.
I'll do the thing. Fine. I'm one of you.
Versus like Miranda Richardson's Mrs. Tweedy. Who,
It's a pie machine. Chickens go in, pies come out.
Ooh, what kind of pie?
who is portrayed as like the devil herself.
Vile.
But it's not even doing anything that...
Nothing more than like you or I would do.
Yeah, it's like...
We got a chicken farm. We kill the chickens.
This chicken doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah. I eat them.
Yeah.
I'm starving.
It's not like she's like maliciously killing chickens.
No, she's not doing it like bathing in their blood.
Yeah, and like Tony Hagar's Mr. Tweedy is kind of like comedic relief, kind of bumbling.
He's also great in the fact of, I swear that they're doing something and he keeps seeing them do stuff, and then he's like, yeah, and then she's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and
it's so funny. Like he's watching the chickens, like, wait, are those chickens doing like military exercises?
Nah, they can't be doing that. And then I also had a really odd thought that doesn't happen that often when I watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But can you see? I don't know if it was. I'm sure it was. Maybe I should have done even an ounce of research on this while I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
But aren't there parts of this movie that are such like a video game of Chicken Run?
Yeah.
Like, couldn't you see playing like that? Could you see a level of going in like the machine?
I was gonna say
and going through that whole thing. I could absolutely see doing
it's
that.
like I could see a level where like sneak past the dog.
Yeah.
You know, press X to make the flying machine.
Or try and get out of the coal box.
Yeah.
Like that. You're in the coal box and you got to try and figure a way out. And
well, I'll say this: like you mentioned, the claymation is really good, or at least the stop motion claymation, whatever it is.
Isn't all claymation stop motion?
That's fair. Yeah. So yeah, one of them's. What the scope of the film? It's like no one's making them do this, but like they put so much attention to detail with the design of the farm, with the design of the
and how the farm
plane.
looks so much like the camp.
Yeah.
Just like the distance between the fence and the cabins themselves.
Yes.
You're like, look at this, and they're all like bunched in the middle, perfectly lined up. Yes.
And always like hits the tone that they're going for. So like when the circus is looking for Rocky, and he's like, oh shit, fuck, hide me. You know, like the way they introduce human elements, like when the machine that they're putting together to make chicken pot pies,
or the
machine, like that
or
big menacing, like,
and the sound
almost like a
makes,
war machine.
Yeah, and
you know?
the diesel sound makes, and they do the same thing with the circus truck.
Yep.
Yes. Anytime human beings are involved, it's such like that breaks the nature of sound.
Yes.
Everything.
And
even the sound of them just with the hatchet when they kill the chicken.
Right.
It's like a thunder. It's
yes.
Like,
yeah.
Meanwhile, it doesn't barely make. It's like that's it. And it's over.
But for the chickens,
in real life.
But for the chickens, right?
Yeah.
And it's like these humans they're like otherworldly almost beings, somewhat. Like anytime things happen with the humans, like even like the way it looks, like it's dark or it's menacing and stuff like that. And it's just very interesting that like there was a play between those tones. Like the chicken's more like carefree, happy-go-lucky ways.
I just love that we're talking about tones now that the sun's right in my face.
Yeah, the sun is.
It's okay. I mean, I don't really care when you talk. I just like that it's like and then you.
Yeah, I'm the Tweeties.
Yeah, you're the chicken. Now I'm Ginger.
I also like I
have Ginger myself anyway. So.
I also love Ginger's hat.
Oh, Ginger's hat is great.
Ginger's hat is,
and even just like the attention to the feathers, I think were so good.
Yeah.
I also love the crochet that she was doing.
Yeah.
Like the whole time.
Yeah, I think what was I gonna say? Mrs. Tweedy's glow up too, like when you see the billboard that she buys.
Perfect. And she looks so happy.
Like nice
and like.
Because she probably is, you know?
Yeah. You're just seeing it from the chicken's perspective.
Right.
That she's a monster. And don't get me wrong, she's not exactly.
She's not very nice.
That was also the other thing I couldn't figure out. I was like, what is this relationship? Are they married?
I think they are, but.
I think they are, because he's like, why can't it be Mr. and Mrs. Tweety? And they're like, we need the female angle.
Yeah.
And which is also another.
Which I agree with her.
Yes, I agree. I don't want to buy a chicken pot pie from a guy.
Mr. Tweety's not the guy.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life. But also, they had, especially that guy.
Yeah, that guy. No,
that guy, no.
No shot.
But they have, I guess they were married. I could have seen them being brother and sister too. But I guess, yeah.
Because like in the tagline, yeah, it sucks. In the tagline,
my back is just.
Yeah, same. But in the tagline, she is Mrs. Tweety. It's not
Miss.
She's
okay,
Mrs. Tweety.
So I assume that they're married.
Yeah. Also, like, again, talking about scope and tone, the chicken pie machine, one, terrible business model. You only have so many chickens.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to get more chickens?
Yeah, how are you going to do this? You're going to get...
Because you don't have eggs anymore. You don't have a rooster, at least not that you know of.
Yeah.
So
what do you do? Yeah, the whole idea of it was a terrible idea. I was like, well, then you're going to run out. This is very short-sighted. There's no way that many chicken pot pies are going to pay for that machine.
No, not even a little.
That's what? Let's say each chicken is 20 pot pies, which it's not.
Yeah.
At $4.95 a piece?
The chicken killing machine that you saw advertised,
yeah.
You're like, yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Like, what is the market
that
for...
machine is way more than fucking... How many chickens are there? 40?
Yeah.
So it's 40... That's way more than $40,000.
100%. But like when they get the machine and Ginger and Rocky are going through it, the pressure gauge, the gravy...
Oh, the gravy pressure.
The gravy
like,
pressure.
why is that a gauge?
Gauge. And then she's pissed because, like, clearly Mr. Tweety must have put this thing together wrong, because that's the only reason it's not working. So he's always catching shit.
Always.
And like, I don't know, it's funny. It's like a funny
also, it's like,
movie.
Oh, motherfucker, like, so your idea is to get a chicken pot pie machine? Why doesn't every chicken rancher have one then? Why isn't that, like...
It's a great question.
I mean, it's in the... She doesn't come up with the idea. They buy it from a magazine that they read about.
Right. Yeah.
So... Like, why doesn't everyone have one then?
Yeah,
so it seems like that's gonna be, that's a fucking watered down market, man.
Yeah.
Like, if everyone has a dispensary.
Also, like, the switch. So, like, when Babs or whatever her name is, Babs or Bunty, one of them, doesn't matter. But like, when she doesn't lay eggs, and like the old model was, you don't lay eggs,
you die.
You get the axe.
I get that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But then now it's like they're thinking, oh shit, she's up next, and they're like, oh, this bitch is getting kind of fat. This is great because the fatter chicken is more pie.
More pie,
you know.
But how? Also, that's another thing too. It's like now you gotta feed them more.
Yeah.
Like how much is that?
You know what's funny too? I like didn't really think about this before, but like in The Great Escape, the papers that they made, like all the forged paperwork, is for the day they're trying to escape.
Yeah. So they have to do it.
They have to do it that day. The chickens have to do it that day because the pie machine
it's gonna get
is about to get fixed. It's like, wow, you made that like connection.
Yeah, you have to made it a timeline. You gotta have. If not, you're just like, we can just dig more tunnels.
Right.
We can we'll squeak this plane. Try and get it to work.
Man, even when they find out Rocky can't fly and she's got like the bottom piece of the poster, and she puts it up and like the lightning clap and like it's so
perfect.
It's so good.
It really is so good. Did you also get like me when you saw the? Although you said you were so familiar with it, but when I first saw it, when they're inside, but when they were in the plane itself, did you get fucking Con Air vibes? Because I did. Like it looked like the plane from Con Air. Which would also make sense because they are prisoners.
Right.
They're trying to escape, and that movie came out already.
Yeah. I mean, I guarantee, because like this studio that does these films, they're great at making references like that, so I wouldn't be surprised if they drew from it.
If I fucking picked up on this, guys, if they're making, in Chicken Run, they're making a Con Air reference.
Also, the tagline, "This ain't no chick flick." Wow.
It's great.
Well done.
It's great.
Well,
I
got no notes.
And yet it totally is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it is. It's
a
chick, like as in chicken, and also it's a female empowering movie. So with an almost 90% female cast.
Yeah, I mean,
There's 3 dudes in it.
Yeah, and you know, like people always make arguments, which I mean, it's true about Hollywood and representation, but like this is
Surprisingly dominant and in the most positive way possible.
and like not like pandering. Like
Nope.
it's just a good
movie. It's just a good movie. They're not shoving it down your throat. They're like, I don't know what to tell you. Like almost in the same way of like, I don't know what to tell you. They're all white guys.
Yeah.
Like this,
Right.
They're all female. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
They're 10s. Why would there be a male?
And even like the solution, because like
And even the one male that shows up, he's a dick.
he's a dick, and he's a bit like all the guys are
or senile.
kind of dumb.
So which
Right.
one do you want?
You're senile. You're Mr. Tweety is kind of dumb. He's right sometimes.
But he's also 100% right.
He's
So
100% right.
He's goofy.
right.
but
He's more goofy than.
But
dumb.
he's not. He thinks he's dumb.
Right.
But he's not because everything he's saying is right.
100%.
He's like, why would we do this? Well, we're just doing this goddamn.
I mean, Rocky isn't dumb. He's
He's
just
full
selfish.
of shit. Yeah, he's full of.
Yeah, he is full of shit.
He's selfish and full of shit.
Yeah. But like that can be redeemed because thankfully Ginger actually has her shit together
Yes.
and can surmise a plan.
Yes.
It's so well done. I love that like they don't. Yeah, the chickens don't learn to fly, but they learn to fly because they make the machine.
And also, I kind of like the way they do the American archetype.
Mm-hmm.
So they take in The Great Escape, they have Steve McQueen, who, like we said, is so cool, super cool.
No
like there's
question.
no downside to him.
Right.
Everything he does is awesome.
Yeah.
And which is his downside.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah,
He's too
come
awesome
on,
to
man.
live, baby.
You studied chemical biology. Of course you do. Anyway,
Yeah.
but and then on the other side, Rocky is exactly the same character,
Yep.
but from a British perspective.
Right.
Like,
Right.
this fucking asshole. Like
That's the point, that he's an
yeah,
asshole. It's like,
that
of
he-
course, an American
Of
would
course,
be this.
and in America, he's so cool.
And you know, even though it's a kids' film, Fowler at one point, I forget, because he's obviously so British, he hates the Americans. Like the oversexed, I forget his exact line. It's like oversexed. I mean, Jesus Christ.
But then again, you're like
Yeah,
Mel
it
Gibson.
seems like it.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah. I don't know. I like I said, for both films, I have no notes.
No notes.
You-
Like those are the two things I like.
Great
We're
job.
talking about the business model.
Yep.
And then like Steve McQueen's too goddamn cool.
Yeah.
And then camp looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like in kind of both too. Like they're all like, they're having a good time. Which, by the way, like I love the gag. First of all, when they do the
the pants
with the pants in the Great Escape when they do to get rid of the they get rid of the
dirt that doesn't match.
Yeah, that doesn't match. Which I was like, that's great.
They come out shaking.
Yeah, they shaking it out and like stepping on it, like which by the way would look so stupid. If you were a guard, you couldn't figure out what was going on. You're like, what are you doing?
But these guards are that dumb.
Yeah, they're like,
that's why they're
how you doing? Just want to stomp in your garden over here, like
each and every one of us.
I love how their excuse though is like when they're saying that like, well, I didn't know you guys were. I thought you guys grew flowers, and he's like, you can't eat flowers. And I was like, that's a great answer. But then and then Chicken Run, their business model, and then Steve McQueen is that he's too cool, and then I don't know, and then everyone's kind of like goofy.
Yeah,
a little too goofy, but
yeah.
Apparently though, they were really like very close to that though. They were like, hey man, let's just wait this out.
Yeah,
like you can't go anywhere. We're not gonna hurt you.
I mean, you got to think.
And that they're all white.
You got to think who would be running the camp, because like it's not like a glamorous job.
No, it's not. There's some guy. You know what made me think of like the real guy that would run it is have you ever seen Jojo Rabbit? Mm-hmm. You know Sam Rockwell's character, how he was like on the front lines, but he got shot, and he was injured, and like he was like crippled from you shouldn't say that. I'm sorry to say, but you know what I mean. He was injured and has a physical disability from war.
Right.
And he said, so that's what he does now. He ran that office. Like that'd be the same guy that ran that camp now. Like he's like, I'm better than this.
Because what? Because like, why would you give a shit?
Yeah, and which would also add to the reason why you wouldn't give a shit.
Right.
You were like, I could be doing so much more.
Right.
But he can't.
There's no option.
Yes.
Also, I guess Not that it really matters, but I guess Rocky's name is Rocky Rhodes. I didn't realize that.
Yes, I do.
That's pretty funny.
Because he always hits the road.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, Chicken Run was released to critical acclaim, was a commercial success, grossing over $220 million, becoming the highest-grossing stop-motion animated film in history, and DreamWorks' biggest success until Shrek in 2001. It doubled it. I mean, Shrek is Shrek.
Shrek is Shrek. I'll tell you what. Like this better.
No, this was great.
Yeah.
Oh shit! A sequel titled
Yes.
Chicken
I
Run
was just
Dawn
about to
of the
say
Nugget.
this. Yeah.
Wow. This December on Netflix. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's I don't like it doesn't bode well for the fact of how long it's taken to make.
Yeah, it's
3 years
probably
to make it in between.
There's nothing to do. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. You don't need to do it. What, do they get captured again?
I would say, I guess my only complaint, but at the end of the day, it's a children's movie, so who gives a shit, is the little, like, paradise that they live in afterwards. I'm like, this is too convenient.
Yeah, I actually, I had, someone came over when that came on, and I turned it off, so I didn't see the full end.
Oh, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's like...
I saw Fowler telling the baby chicks, which...
You got it.
Yeah,
Like,
I got it. As soon as I saw it, I knew what was happening. It's not like...
That was all it was. Like, the same... There's, like, a poster that Ginger has.
I didn't think fucking Skeletor came out of the water at the end. Like, I'll get you, E-Man! Like,
that's what happened in The Great Escape.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, oh man.
That was... I also
trick you into using English.
Yeah.
And get caught.
Thanks very much. Also, what I love, too, about that was that's the guy that told him, like, this is the oldest trick in the book, don't do it, and then they did it to him. And he's like, son of a bitch! Thanks very much. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Have a nice day. Excuse me? And that one guy that catches John Hammond, he catches him, he's like, your French is very good. That guy is he's a terrible actor, but at the same time is so creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know how, he's like physically imposing, but I mean like out of shape, but also, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really good. And also I loved the ending to The Great Escape of like the credits.
Right.
Like that's the best way to do credits. Like, what's that guy's name? Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah, with the photos.
Yeah, the photos up there, and they're like, oh. And them doing something like, oh shit.
Because like I didn't know how into the characters we were gonna get, but I was like, how the hell am I gonna remember all these people?
Yeah.
And I was like,
that guy. That's James Garner. That's James Coburn. Oh, the Scrounger.
Because it's not like IMDb today. Well, I mean, it is like IMDb anytime, but it was so long ago, and the photos that they used for some of these actors were like photos of them much older.
Of course.
You know, later in their career, and I was like, who is
that guy?
You know?
Yeah.
That was right there.
Now it's right there. Like if you look at what's his name? The guy that plays Big X. Who's John Hammond?
Yeah.
Like when you look up his picture, it's fucking John Hammond. It's not that picture. Like that guy looks so familiar. Who is that? And then you're like, oh, he created Jurassic Park. Like,
yeah, I don't know. This was
so I thought it was. I also love that ending of like how they did everything like and while they're doing the do 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 do, and it's so I love the ending to that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, both films like I said, Chicken Run. Yeah, like sure isn't an ideal ending, but why wouldn't it be? It's a children's movie. Like why?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be happily kind of ever after? So
Of course, and it should be.
yeah, what?
Yeah.
What do I care? I want the chickens to suffer. Haven't they suffered
no
enough?
way, man. They've suffered enough. Yeah. I just wish that in this video that it wasn't slowly being whitewashed out of it.
Yeah, yeah, true.
It looked like a ghost.
Yeah, plus he's gonna start getting to me, dog.
Oh, it's gotten to me, my friend.
Yeah, buddy. That's why I'm wrapping this shit up.
Yeah.
Chicken Run runtime hour 24, tight hour 24.
Yo, it goes by like nothing.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And even like The Great Escape being close to 3 hours is 2 hours and 52 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
this is also one of the only DVDs I still own. It's
Nice.
The Great Escape, which I watched it on it because I watched Chicken Run.
Fucking
and then,
McQueen on the motorcycle.
Yeah, Steve McQueen. And great fun fact about this movie, that they couldn't get someone to ride as well as Steve McQueen to chase him. So he's actually dressed as the German soldier. He's chasing himself.
Wow.
In the movie. So he's dressed as a German soldier chasing Steve McQueen.
They don't make dudes like that no more.
They don't.
Man.
Like who's just like, oh no, I'll do it. Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I jump the fence? Can I like Tom Cruise will do it, but he's not nearly as cool as Steve McQueen is. Like Steve McQueen will fuck your wife in front of you.
100%. like, you know, I'll give Tom Cruise respect for, you know, jumping off the motorcycle with the parachute and stuff. Like,
Oh, he's insane.
it's not the same as like McQueen just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna send it.
Yeah,
Like,
there's like, don't get me wrong. He did it with the parachute and all that stuff, but like Steve McQueen's just like, I'm just gonna jump this right now. Like, let's go. Like, if we're in our backyard right now.
what makes like the Tom Cruise stunt cool is the stunt is cool, right? Like the thing is so, yeah, like to do something that crazy is what makes it cool. Steve McQueen on a motorcycle is cool.
Yes, he's just awesome. I'm very convinced, like, that I think this movie erred close, which is also, this movie is the movie, for anyone that saw Once Upon a Time in America, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Yeah.
that they superimposed Leonardo DiCaprio in as the Steve McQueen part, that he was quote unquote up for it. And they talk about that movie. But I digress. That part, I think there was just a void left in America after James Dean died.
Yeah, well,
that kind of taken up by the. They tried to fill it with like Marlon Brando, but Marlon Brando wasn't that guy. He was like, oh, I'm a better actor than all of you,
Right.
than anyone that's ever lived,
Right.
Except for Daniel Day-Lewis. And they tried to make it with like the Wild One, but it's like, okay, I did that already. Now I'm done. But so then they did it with like Paul Newman and Steve McQueen, and that's really so they tried to like err on the side of way too cool instead of just like, you don't need to be a chemical engineer, like, you don't need to do that.
yeah, it's like at a certain point you scale it back.
Yeah.
I mean McQueen,
He's cool. You don't need it. Like you don't need it more.
Right.
It's perfect.
you know, like
And in a cast of cool guys, all of them.
that's what's actually elevates it, makes it even more interesting is that like you mentioned, that cast, like Bronson by himself is a pretty cool guy
Yeah.
by Hollywood standards.
James Gardner,
Yeah.
is a pretty cool guy.
And like to be the king of cool.
Yeah, and to be the
Cooler
king
king.
of cool, the cooler king in this camp full of awesome dudes.
Yeah.
And you're the guy that's like, oh, they're the ones you talk about. That's why this role is perfect, because he's not really the star.
No, he's not really the star, but like
I don't know really who is. I would probably say John Hammond.
I would say, yeah, more
Big
likely.
X.
Yeah, I would say that he is the star overall, I guess, but it's tight. So that's Richard Attenborough.
Richard Attenborough, yeah. Duh.
Which like that does make sense because like this was like his intro. You know when they're like do that thing in Hollywood introducing Richard Attenborough. So yeah, he crushed it.
He does crush it, but he's kind of the star. I mean, his name's Big X. He's
Right.
the leader of it all.
Right.
Like, he's the one really trying to push the foil. Everyone looks up to him. Like, he's the one that they all look to.
But Steve McQueen's got a baseball.
Yeah, Steve McQueen's got a baseball. And that really, I think it's more of like, Steve McQueen's getting really good. Like, he's getting really popular. Maybe this guy's really cool.
Right.
Let's do that. And then, so, do you think that they should have remade this movie?
I think that one, because we were talking about Reese's, I think they do it all the time.
Yes.
Even subtly, well, not so subtly. Yeah, if chicken runs the result, yeah.
Yes, 1,000%. That's not even a question. Both of these were so good. The original should exist, the remake should exist. Yeah, I hope they do it again.
I think it's like, weirdly enough, of all the remakes, it's actually the best way to do a remake because it's not the same thing at all. But it is.
But it is. It's so good. Like, this might be the best one we've ever done on here.
It's not stepping on toes. No one's like, why would you? How could you?
How dare you? Like, well, they're fucking chickens, man. Like,
it's what's like the best thing about a remake is that it's just an homage. Like,
yeah, it's different.
We're taking elements because we respect this thing.
Yeah.
But we're telling a completely different story.
Oh, we're telling the same story.
Yeah, but like,
in a new way. We're telling it in a completely new way. It's a completely new take on it.
I think that's the power of Ginger in the film because like this movie is about Ginger who's more self-aware than maybe any of the characters that are even in The Great Escape.
Yeah.
She may be the most self-aware person in all of these films.
But it's also a commentary on, older women.
Right.
And, and their use in society. Oh, look. As we're leaving, the sun is going behind a cloud.
Wow.
And oh, my God, I could see. Sorry.
This is great. I
can see.
I think I looked at the sun just now. But yeah, like, I can't think of a better way to do this.
It was so good.
And I'm shocked. Cause like,
yeah, if you're going to make a remake, this is how you make a remake. 100% how you
When
do
you said chicken run, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of fun. Because like, I didn't really remember Chicken Run because it's been years. Like I'm an adult man, but I was like, this should be like
Yeah, that's what you said.
entertaining.
You were like, oh, it gives me an excuse to watch Chicken Run again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, it gives me an excuse to watch The Great Escape again.
It's a damn good excuse because I mean everything about it was like
From start to finish.
Even
Both
like-
of these movies, I was like, let's go. I watched them back to back.
even like a joke that if you put in a different film, I would say boo. But when he's like, oh, this one's a little hard boiled, where you look like a 20-minute.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like it's so cheesy, but like in this context, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Ginger obviously is the big star of the film, but Mel Gibson's dickishness is fun too.
It is fun because it's the other
It's not
perspective of
helpful.
not at all. It's the American swagger.
Yeah.
Like, it from the other perspective is really kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because we're also used to this the American the Steve McQueen. We're used to that and being like, yeah, that's what we gotta be.
Well, you know what? Actually,
Which is I base my whole life on it.
100%.
Yeah.
Which actually, funny enough, Chicken Run does answer and clarify the question you asked. Is Steve McQueen the star of the film? No, because Steve McQueen is Rocky.
That's right.
Ginger is Big X.
Well,
Kinda.
kinda.
Because
Because the one for one, we basically said Steve McQueen.
Well, that's
The
true.
Cooler. There's elements of every one of
Well,
them.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But like,
There's also like he comes in, he's like scrounging stuff. Like Rocky gets,
Yeah.
he works out the deal. He basically like gets the stuff from the rats. Meanwhile, like he's not giving
guess
up
you're right.
anything. Whereas
That's right,
like he
'cause,
does
like-
the same thing to the
no, you're right. Because
James Gardner
Ginger
does
is
it.
actually cool.
yeah.
Rocky is bravado.
Yes, but she's also the brains behind it too. So
Yeah.
it's like there's a lot of it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
There's like you said, it's tough to do a one for one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie about chickens,
Yeah.
for God's
It's about-
sake.
Then again, James Gardner was also American. He just wasn't as cocky as Steve McQueen was.
Cocky, I see what you did there.
Yeah, cock of the walk, baby. Big
cock. The Steve September is not disappointing out the gate.
No,
This is
no.
it's phenomenal.
Now I don't know which way we didn't discuss this off
Yeah.
camera, but I don't know which way you want to go. I was thinking since we'll leave it to the end. But do you want to do the Thomas Crown affair, the Steve McQueen, and then the Pierce Brosnan?
Sure.
I don't know if we don't have to do it
No,
either.
no, like-
yeah.
It's Steve September. Let's do it.
Yeah, Steve September. Okay,
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
The Thomas Crown Affair.
The Thomas Crown affair.
Nice.
Sounds good. So we'll do
Okay.
that, and we'll be back next time with a brand new Steve September for Retroverse Remake.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to more themed months.
And then we'll get into Halloween and do other stuff. Halloween-esque.
Yeah, that's right around the
And
corner.
then we'll get into I don't know something.
Something.
Yeah. Oh, I actually thought of a good one for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Thought of a good one. Yes.
we'll talk off camera.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Absolutely. Both of these films should exist. And Chicken Run is
It's American.
It's a
masterpiece.
triumph.
That's right.
It's a triumph.
It's a triumph. of
bring this
cinema.
shit to Cannes.
Bring it to Con. Yeah, they're both triumphs. I love them both.
Yeah. I can't believe how much I like Chicken Run. I might watch it again.
Yeah, and I could say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it was so good, and I like if we were after this is over, you're like, you know what? And you put it on, and we're like, let's take a peek over here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Let's take a beak over there. That's Retroverse Remake for the week, baby.
We did it again.
Yes, again, I'm Dan Farley. You can find me at JerseyDan18. Dan Farley18 on Instagram and JerseyDan18 on Twitter. And you can follow us at Retroverse Remake on Instagram.
Absolutely.
And at RP Comedy. I don't want to speak for you.
No. Reggie Parker, you can find me at RP Comedy on X and Instagram. Follow Retroverse Remake on YouTube
and
Spotify.
And then also this week, coming up September
this is
16th
huge.
at the St. George Theater. Come see us perform stand-up comedy at Staten Island, New York. The St. George Theater, 35 Hyatt Street, September 16th. There's two shows, 7:30 and 7 and 9:30.
Yep.
Go to stgeorgetheater.com. That's STGeorgetheatre.com.
Nice. Yeah.
So and go there for tickets. You can find us September
We're gonna stand up.
16th.
We got a killer lineup.
Got a killer lineup with Alex Nicholas, Kate Nichols, Reggie, me,
Yep.
Gordon Bakerbone. Like I said, 2 shows. You can also go to Ticketmaster.com and
Your
buy
boys
it.
are on Ticketmaster. You know,
Ticketmaster.
they're like Taylor Swift in this bitch.
Yeah, we're like Taylor Swift. Swifty.
We really are feminist icons.
We are. We ought to
I
be
mean, it's
beyond
just-
that. I think not only that, but we are what a feminist strives to be.
Right,
You know,
right,
like
right.
we are not only do we put equality above all
Of
all
course,
else,
above all.
we don't take any other route. You know, we have integrity. We
That's
just
right.
go the whole route. Even though I mentioned that there were a bunch of guys on this show.
Yeah.
Most
There's
women
a
just
woman.
don't like us.
There's a woman.
That's not our fault.
This ain't no chick flick.
Say no chick flick. So please come out, show some support. We'd love to hear your Retroverse Remake. I'm Dan Farley.
I'm Reggie Parker.
Thank you for coming out. See you next time, buddies.
Hey. That's it.
That was good.